Hello and welcome to Digging and Digging. Today we're going to be discussing some prehistory, which we are going to be basically sprinting through. Unfortunately, the people of this time period didn't know how to read or write, so there's not a whole lot of archaeological evidence. Not only that, but it's very early in history, so there wasn't a whole lot of material culture to go around. That being said, the people of this time period were pastoralists. They domesticated wild cattle and sheep and goats and things like that. And they lived to the west of the Nile River in a fertile plain, and they spread wild grass seeds and other things like that to create more pasture lands for their for their cattle and whatnot. But slowly and inevitably, the thing that we call the Sahara Desert began to develop, and this would force them out of their lands and closer to the Nile River. Now, to this point, that we reach a subject that's of significant debate. There's two sides to this, and on the far side we have historical revisionists that seem to want to wedge certain groups of people into history, and we have basically on the other far side white supremacists who want to make Egypt out to be a distinctly white people, and of course truth is, on neither one of their opinions. But regardless, these two sides use a bit of information to their advantage, and that's that the people of Egypt at this time called themselves the people of the Black Lands and the people of the Red Lands. Now, while this was not a color distinction, it was a color distinction in the soil, not in the skin. And in the north, in the delta area, when the Nile would overflow, it would pour this thick black silt, across the ground. And in the south, there were wide roaming red deserts. And so in their artwork, when they were depicting people from their land, they would color them the color of the soil rather than their actual realistic skin color. And so those respective sides have used that to their advantage. That said, there is a migration into Egypt from the north, a likely Semitic-speaking peoples, lighter skin, from what at the time was called Asia, the Asiatics, as the Egyptians would say, and so they came in, and it was a fairly violent migration, and they eventually bumped into another group of recent migrants in Egypt, and these were people from the southwest that had formerly been pastoral peoples, and they butchered and massacred them. Got a grave site, a couple dozen bodies, men, women, and children, all killed with stone tools and whatnot. Some execution style, some a little less. They died violently. And so, at this time, there were not a whole lot of burial rites. These people were just kind of tossed in the ground. We don't know if it was their aggressors who buried them or the survivors of the attack. And, that's where we'll leave off. Sorry these videos are so short. My phone doesn't have a whole lot of storage space.